Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Business Beyond Borders. So, I have a fun episode today talking a little bit about operational efficiency. So, one of the things from working with firms in the US is as we're in the partnership model, what tends to happen is every partner, until you reach a certain size, a firm will really be running the operation and also doing a lot of right. So that means actual client relationship work, doing the actual accounting, tax, or audit. They're also involved in that. And some partners and some firms find it more difficult to step out of that role as they're growing to focus on developing the business more than others. So I brought Eli on today, who is the owner of Owner Free Systems, right? And he's developed ways that businesses can really focus on stepping out of that productive role, essentially, and like more of the doer role
hmm
and step into more of an owner, right?
hmm
And being able to actually build a business rather than necessarily just have to do that work. So, Eli,
hmm
thank you for joining today.
It's a pleasure. It's a
So,
pleasure.
can you
Thank you
start?
so much for having me.
No, 100%. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us your background. Tell us a bit about the business, who you typically work with. That would be great
hmm
to get to know.
So my name's Eli. I'm from New York. We have a company named Owner Free Systems Advisory, where we help business owners that are in the business, they're working on the business. We help them take them out of the daily operations, right? So they have time to work on their business, not inside of their business. And we do that through building operational manuals, SOPs, systems, processes. It sounds boring, but what we do is really giving them the ability to focus on growth, scale, efficiency, expanding into new markets, and maybe possibly preparing the business for exit at a top dollar. And we do that through the efficiency and the systemization.
So, what is it? What are the size of businesses you typically work with, right? What is I guess, the major challenge or common challenge you see across many of the businesses when it comes to this?
It's a good question. It definitely has to be a business where it's not a one-man show. It has to be a business with at least three, four employees. The business doing either very close to seven figures or above seven figures. Most of our clients are anywhere between the $1 to $10 million range. What makes them I want to say what makes a service so valuable to them is they're growing. They're growing past the point where the owner can take everything on himself. He's at the point where he's answering most of the questions in the business. He's at the point where the owner usually can't take a real vacation without getting bombarded with phone calls. He's at the point where maybe he has some talented people on his team, like his team could be talented, but either they're inconsistent, they'll need to be micromanaged, or he feels that he can't find good people for his business. He's past the point of do it yourself. Now he needs help, he needs structure in order to continue to scale without the chaos.
Now, when it comes to again working, like the listeners here are more so accountants, right? Accountants, keepers, accounting
Mhm.
firm. So some of the work becomes more technical than other pieces of work,
Mhm.
right? There's an element of experience that's needed for certain roles and responsibilities. Do you find that there are, I know that you've worked with some accounting firms and some bookkeepers
Mhm.
before. Are there like what's the best way to sort of start this process? Is it focusing on more back office, admin responsibilities, operational responsibilities? Is it the technical work, but maybe just segmenting certain sections of that work? Or like what do you look at first when you get in
Mhm.
the business?
It's another great question. I would say that the first step is a mental state. It's mental, right? We have to make a switch that you mentioned bookkeeping and accounting. I'm going to give a bookkeeping example. I worked with a bookkeeping company that is doing a little bit under $2 million. The first thing we did is we had a meeting and we really understood and we helped the owner and the founder to make a switch. He has to make a switch in his head from the owner operator. I'm a doer, I'm a technician in my business, to I have to become the entrepreneur, the person that's going to drive this business forward. And we only did that because the founder wanted to scale, wanted to grow. I mean, if there's a business owner that wants to do the bookkeeping, he's not my client because I can't really help him. We're helping the people that they're the bookkeepers, they're the accountants, but they want to become the entrepreneur. They want to become the person that builds the business. So after we made the first step, which is a mental step, that we have to become, from switch from a firefighter that solves problems in the business to a system builder, to a person that's going to build a machine that works like clockwork, I would say is understanding what are the three processes inside of our business? We call the three freedom processes. What are the three freedom processes that you, as the business owner, want and need to continue doing? What are the
Okay.
three things that you have to keep doing inside of your business to because that's your business, that's what you want to do, but sometimes that's what you need to do. And I'm going to give an example. In the bookkeeping company, the founder needed to continue to drive the revenue. I mean, the revenue came either from referral from accounting firms, different accounting firms, either from expos or paid ads. So nobody will go to the expos besides the owner and in that specific business. Nobody will make relationship with accountants based, other than the founder. So that's the first thing that we put on the side. Okay, the owner is the rainmaker, right? He drives the
Mm-hmm.
business. The second thing is the second freedom process is the strategy, the vision. Nobody but the owner, nobody but the founder will give the vision because the owner usually the visionary. That's what he's a doer. He's doing it inside of a business. He has a vision. And the third thing that this specific owner wanted to keep on his plate is the key hires. He wanted to make sure that the bookkeepers that he hires are his choice, and he does the interviews. So those are the three things that he wanted to do: the sales part, the vision part, and the key hiring. Other than that, we started systemizing everything step by step. And what do I mean by systemizing? We started to defining what is this task, what is this process inside of our business. The second step is to understand who does it best. And a lot of times in small businesses, it could be either the owner or the rock star employee. And then we start building systems and processes, which is the recipes of how to do the specific business based on data and based on information and based on what's already working inside of the business, in order for the owner to actually stop being inside in the trenches and the weeds, but we can take him out and put him in the position where he works on his business, not in his business, and the day-to-day happens without him being there.
So, and this can be relatable to if we're looking at a partnership, right, where there's
Mm-hmm.
multiple partners in the firm, that means that, again, everybody doesn't have to be in that same role, right? There may be a
Mm-hmm.
partner that needs to be on more of the quality side of
Mm-hmm.
things, wants to be more technical, so really stays in that realm and is more leading somewhat of the operational piece. There may be another one that's more of that visionary, right,
Mm-hmm.
that's going about it from that side of things. And then there may be a rainmaker, right? So they may be able to separate these responsibilities in more of a partnership model
Of
than
course.
necessarily a corporate model. And now, what is the is it a software? Is it a system you're sort of integrating in there? Is it more like no, it's not. It's like you said at the beginning, it's a little bit of mindset. It's about going in there, using what they've got to make sure that they really have a proper system and process in place now? Or are you changing sort of tech stacks and tools, or what does that look like roughly?
Right. So it's also a good question. My approach is simplicity. We believe that simplicity is the key for small business owners. And my first approach is not to change the technology and the software you have. My first approach is let's work with what we have, because there's a very big chance that we can make what you have work. It's just what I find is that most business owners think that, oh, let me hire this employee or let me get this software and everything all of a sudden all my problems will go away. It's never the case. We use software to our advantage. So it's definitely our process is definitely around people, and it's definitely has a component of software because we have to store I call the system hub, where we have this vault of systems and processes that we make very simple because we believe that most employees want to they want to do their job well. They just need to have the tools and need to have a crystal clear expectations and roles defined. So we define those roles, we define those tasks. For example, in the bookkeeping company, we define the role of how to do the actual work, how to submit a report. I know it sounds funny, but there's inside of this vault, inside of the software, this specific company is using Asana. So inside of an Asana, there's a task that's called, if I'm not mistaken, how to send a report. And there's steps. It's not a 50-page SOP. It's super simple. It's super accessible. And before they submit a report, right, there's a link that will take them to this specific task. And they have to put a check. Hey, I went over it. And this way we make sure that every time they submit a report, it's done the way we want it as an organization and the way that the founder or the partner wants it to happen. And again, every founder could be wearing a different hat. That's why we go into business. We have a passion towards something, We want to do this, but a lot of times as we grow, we have to do millions of other things. So our goal is to put the people in the right seat, give them the right tools so they can succeed at what they do, so they can succeed at what they're good at. And we make it very accessible with software. But software is never the answer. It's the process behind it. That's where the magic happens.
Now, you mentioned, and that's great. I mean, it's one of the pieces there was that checklist that you mentioned about, like,
Mm-hmm.
where I when I'm talking to firms about using international teams, like we
Mm-hmm.
go into it quite a lot in the listen, it's we need to document, we need to create a standard operating procedure,
Yeah,
right? But then we need a control, right? You
right.
need a control. You need some type of tracking that's there. So again, that comes with a checklist, and especially in the accounting world, that can be very easy. Again, we're used to
Of
from
course.
the audit side, right? Now, what about when it comes to again that mindset shift that you said? Like, why do you find it so difficult for some entrepreneurs or some business owners to really take that step out? Like, is
Mm,
there something that's a more common reason behind it? Like, is it that they are again they're just set in their ways, right? And
mhm,
they don't want to necessarily change? Is it the feel that you need to have control of everything? Like, is
mm,
there sort of a more common or couple of common sort of themes across firms
mhm.
again, so that they can understand that, like, maybe resonate with it a little bit as well, and be like, oh yeah, this is exactly.
Definitely, 100%. So I definitely see a pattern. And I'm going to take it a step backwards. Why do most people start a business? Most small businesses in America start, again, from me working with small businesses and interacting with people, is if I'm a bookkeeper, if I'm an accountant, I probably worked as a bookkeeper for a few years. I worked for a boss. I got really good at doing the bookkeeping job. So I'm a bookkeeper, I worked for this firm for 3, 4, 5 years. I realized I'm good at what I'm doing. So I might as well just open a bookkeeping company, right? That's how most small business owners think. Oh, I've been a plumber. I don't make the same amount of money as the owner. Let me just open my plumbing company, right? The same with accountants. I'm a good accountant. Let me just open an accounting company. And that's where the problem is, because we got used as small business owners, we got used to doing the previous job. We did the work of a bookkeeper. We did the work of the accountant. We did the audits. We did the reports. We did the work. And then when we opened the business, we're very good at what we're doing. Like, we're amazing at what we're doing. That's why we opened the business, because we believe that we'll be able to provide service and value to the marketplace. But then there's a different problem. We can only do so much. There's X amount of hours per day that you can work because you have other responsibilities. And when you start maximizing those hours, you start bringing help, and you start hiring accountants or bookkeepers or people inside of your organization, people inside of your business. But then what I found, that most of my clients have this mindset of nobody will do it as well as me. Nobody can do it as good as me. Because in most small business owners, the intellectual property, everything is stored in the founder's head. So it's very hard to expect your employees to do the way you do, to do the job the way you do the job, without you explaining it to them in a very crystal clear way, and you defining what you need from them every step of the way. So I found that that's the biggest challenge for small business owners, including accounting firms, bookkeeping firms, to delegate. They don't know how to delegate properly because they truly believe that nobody will do it as well as them. So I might as well just do it myself, or it's too hard to teach someone what I do. It's going to take long. Instead of explaining for an hour how to do this task, how to create this report, how to send this audit, let me just do it myself. It'll take me 30 minutes. I'll just do it myself. So those are two things that I found the most within small business owners. And if we help them make a switch, and we help them see it in a different way, that's where the freedom comes. That's when the real scale comes. That's when they start seeing that the business can actually function without them micromanaging and babysitting their employees. That's where the magic happens, after they make that switch, and we can start doing the work.
Now, an element of that importance around this process is that, again, you're building it around people,
Mm,
right? They're there right now. People come and go, right? So you have to be able to build these systems and these controls in place. And it's not about necessarily being more flexible on the quality of a product, right? Or flexible on the actual, but you need to be able to train and put controls in place to get it up to that standard, even if you're not doing it, right? Now,
of
the
course.
expectation of, okay, this person should be able to get to this amount of time, that comes with generally lots of experience of doing it, right? So there has to be variances between
Mhm.
people because they may also be better at something else that you can't do in the same amount of time, right? So so there are lots of variables. What are some of those key identifying factors that, again, a firm needs to look out for, or an owner of a business should be looking out for internally to say, you know what, it's time where I really need to create these systems and processes now that I currently don't have them.
It's a great question. I would say the first thing is if there's an inconsistent client delivery, meaning whatever service or product, whatever business we're in, let's say bookkeeping or accounting, if there's an inconsistent client delivery, it means that we're operating based on the intellectual property of either of ourselves or our key employees, right? And we can't let it happen. We have to have consistent service or product. Or I would say hiring staff becomes chaotic. You feel that hiring more people inside of your business just becomes chaotic and becomes a headache. It's usually a signal that there's something wrong with the way you operate, because you have to have a streamlined onboarding and training plan inside of your business, so all of your employees are at the same level and have the same knowledge in order to make sure that the product or service that we're delivering is consistent to our clients. I would say another thing is if the founder is pulled into answering and millions of questions and solving everyone's problems. That's usually the case, right? He feels like he doesn't have enough time, like he has to solve everyone's problems. He's repeating the same answers to different people on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, and it just creates a headache. And I would say another thing, if you're thinking about an exit, or if you're thinking about selling your business, you have to start focusing on systemizing your business, because buyers, they will not pay top dollar for a business that is either owner dependent or key man dependent. If you're thinking about selling or exiting within 3 to 5 years, you have to start working on it today. That by the time you actually really want to sell your business will be streamlined, it will be attractive to buyers, and even if you don't want to sell it right now, making your business sellable will help you scale and streamline the operations.
Perfect. Yeah, and I think as a firm, we just need to look at it at the end of the day. I mean, it's especially in accounting firms, we see the ones that are most successful are the ones that have very good systems in place, right? We notice as firms get larger and larger, we grow a lot through acquisitions and things like that, organic growth. So there's a lot of ways that then we find it very difficult to centralize the actual workload because one office runs very different than another office, right? So but having good standard operating procedures and finding the best practice that fits your firm is very important, and it will make it easier to scale in the long run. So Eli, really appreciate you jumping on today.
Of course.
I will be posting some details of yours as well so that they can reach out to you, but do you want to just give us just a quick sort of 30 seconds just on where they can reach out to you or where they can find you if they're looking for it?
Of course. So first of all, I appreciate you having me, and I hope that it added value and served at least one listener. And if it is, I'll be more than happy. So yeah, definitely. We're going to add the link of Owner Free Systems. And if you have a business, you're a small business owner, you have anywhere between 3 to 50 employees, you make anywhere between high six figures to 10 million, $15 million. And everything looks good on paper. There's revenue, but behind the scenes, there's chaos. That's where we come in. We're going to come in, help you systemize everything, build the SOPs, build the processes, install the operational systems, remove you from the day-to-day operations, so you can actually think about growing, spending, or potentially making your business more attractive for an exit. And we love what we do. We see the results. It's amazing. It's doing very well. And I hope we can help another person.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, everybody. I hope you had a great episode today on Business Beyond Borders, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Business Beyond Borders. I'm Lawrence Whittam, and it's been a pleasure bringing you impactful insights tailored for the modern CPA firm. Remember, the world of accounting is vast and ever-evolving, and we're here to navigate it together. For more resources and episodes, don't forget to subscribe and reach out to our experts. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of your business and explore the limitless possibilities beyond borders.